The rise of Texas, from Spanish rule to independence. A state that has forged its own path through centuries of turmoil, conflict, and growth. From the time of Spanish explorers, through its fight for independence, and into its modern role as one of the most influential states in the United States, Texas' story is one of resilience, courage, and progress. Join us as we explore the rise of Texas, from its Spanish roots to its present-day power and influence. Spanish rule, 1519 to 1821. Our story begins in the early 1500s. The land that would become this great state was first explored by Spanish adventurers. In 1519, the Spanish explorer Alonso Alvarez de Pineda mapped the Texas coastline, marking the beginning of Spain's interest in the region. Over the next century, Spanish expeditions, led by famous figures such as Francisco Vázquez de Coronado, explored deeper into the interior of what is now Texas. The Spanish saw this vast land as an opportunity to expand their empire and spread Christianity. In 1682, the Spanish established the first permanent settlement in Texas, San Fernando de Bechar, today known as San Antonio. Throughout the 17th and 18th centuries, Spain built missions and presidios, military forts, throughout the region, with the aim of converting Native American tribes to Christianity and establishing a foothold in North America. The most iconic of these missions is the Alamo, established in 1718, which would later become a symbol of Texas' fight for independence. Despite Spain's efforts to control Texas, the region remained largely sparsely populated. The indigenous tribes, such as the Apache and Comanche, resisted Spanish influence. The struggles with these tribes and the distance from Mexico City meant that Spain's hold on the Lone Star State was always tenuous. Mexico's control and American settlers, 1821 to 1835. In 1821, Mexico gained its independence from Spain. The region of Texas became part of the newly formed Mexican Republic. The Mexican government, eager to populate its northern territories, began offering land grants to settlers, primarily from the United States. This policy encouraged a steady influx of Anglo-American settlers into Texas. The most significant figure during this time was Stephen F. Austin, known as the Father of Texas. Austin was given the authority to bring settlers into Texas, and under his leadership, the first successful American colony was established in 1825. At the same time, tensions between the Anglo settlers and the Mexican government began to rise. The settlers, many of whom were from the southern United States, were accustomed to slavery, which Mexico had abolished in 1829. In 1830, the Mexican government passed the law of April 6th, which imposed strict regulations on immigration from the U.S. and restricted slavery in Texas, escalating the tensions further. By 1835, these growing conflicts led to an uprising, setting the stage for the outbreak of the Frontier Revolution, the Texas Revolution, 1835 to 1836. In 1835, the spark of rebellion ignited as Texian settlers, led by figures like Sam Houston and Stephen F. Austin, began to resist Mexican rule. This great state revolution was underway. The first major battle was the Siege of Bazaar in late 1835, where Texian forces captured San Antonio from the Mexican army. But the revolution would soon face one of its most iconic and tragic events, the Battle of the Alamo. In February 1836, a group of around 180 Texian fighters, including the legendary Davy Crockett, James Bowie, and William B. Travis, fortified themselves in the Alamo Mission in San Antonio. For 13 days, they held off the much larger Mexican army led by General Santa Anna. On March 6th, the Alamo fell. All the defenders were killed, and Santa Anna's forces moved forward. The cry, "Remember the Alamo?" became a rallying call for Texians across the region. It was a symbol of resistance, courage, and sacrifice. But just over a month later, on April 21st, 1836, Sam Houston and his army decisively defeated Santa Anna at the Battle of San Jacinto. Santa Anna was captured, and Texas was granted independence. Sam Houston, a former governor of Tennessee, emerged as the hero of the revolution. His strategic brilliance and leadership at San Jacinto secured Texas' freedom and cemented his place in the state's history as a founding figure. The Republic of the Lone Star State, 1836 to 1845. On March 2, 1836, this region declared its independence, forming the Republic of Texas. For the next 9 years, the new republic struggled to establish its place in the world. With a weak economy, constant threats from Mexico, and political divisions among its leaders, Texas faced a challenging existence. During this period, the Texian government was led by Sam Houston, the first president, and later by Mirabeau B. Lamar. Lamar pushed for more aggressive policies, including the expansion of this land into Mexican territory, but his administration also faced internal strife and financial instability. Mirabeau B. Lamar, often considered the father of Texas education, focused on the establishment of public schools and a more centralized government. However, his expansionist ambitions and strained relations with Mexico hindered the republic's stability. Despite these challenges, this land maintained its independence, never recognized by Mexico, which refused to relinquish its claim over the territory. By the mid-1840s, the Republic of Texas was in dire need of security and economic stability. Its leaders began to seek annexation by the United States. The Mexican-American War, 1846 to 1848. The annexation of the Lone Star State did not go unnoticed by Mexico. In fact, it led directly to the Mexican-American War. Mexico, still bitter about losing Texas, refused to recognize the U.S.-Texas border and viewed the annexation as an act of aggression. The war broke out in 1846 and lasted until 1848, ending with the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. This treaty established the Rio Grande as the border between Texas and Mexico and resulted in the United States acquiring a vast amount of land, known as the Mexican Cession. The Civil War and Reconstruction, 1861 to 1877. In 1861, as tensions over slavery grew in the United States, the frontier seceded from the Union and joined the Confederacy. Texas was crucial to the Southern cause, supplying troops, cattle, and resources. However, after the Confederate defeat in 1865, this great state was readmitted to the Union. During Reconstruction, Texas underwent significant changes. Former slaves were granted citizenship and the right to vote. However, the state remained racially segregated, and tensions between Northern and Southern ideologies persisted for many years. The 20th century and oil boom, 1900 to 2000. By the early 20th century, this region had transformed. The discovery of oil at Spindletop in 1901 marked the beginning of an economic revolution. Texas became an oil powerhouse, driving rapid industrialization and urbanization. Cities like Houston, Dallas, and Austin grew exponentially, becoming major economic and cultural hubs. The 20th century also saw the rise of prominent political figures, including Lyndon B. Johnson, the 36th President of the United States, who hailed from Texas. Johnson played a crucial role in passing landmark legislation such as the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, modern the Lone Star State, 2000 to 2025. Today, the Lone Star State is a state that stands as a symbol of economic power and political influence. The oil industry remains crucial, but Texas has also become a leader in technology, aerospace, and renewable energy. The state's population has grown rapidly, making it one of the most diverse states in the Union. This region continues to play a pivotal role in American politics. In recent years, the state has seen political shifts, with more attention being paid to its growing Hispanic population and changing demographics. From its early days as a Spanish colony to its rise as an independent republic, and finally as a powerhouse in the modern United States, Texas history is one of transformation and resilience. Its journey is still unfolding, and the future holds new challenges and opportunities for this great state. If you enjoyed exploring the history of the Lone Star State and want to discover the stories of more U.S. states, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.